Alrighty guys, making a quick video. Gotta get to it. But while I was having lunch, I was listening to John Lundgren talking to John Kempf. What a great guy, but there was one part that really, I don't know. I basically believe the exact opposite. And he was saying, I mean, maybe I'm completely got it wrong, but he was saying in the organic movement, we have these leaders that are resistant to no-till organic, and how that's, very wrong. And here I am in what I consider to be a regenerative organic field of mine, completely tore up, running the tine weeder again to prevent weeds. Well, my sunflowers are germinating and coming up, and I plant the sunflower seed and all the seed pretty deep. And well, maybe a little bit too deep for these sunflowers, I don't know, but they're kind of small sunflower seeds, 2.5 inches maybe, but they'll come up. It's just I plant them deep so that I can do an extra pass across with the tine weeder to kill another flush of weeds. So there's definitely intensive tillage in the spring. I disked this twice, kill weeds and I guess some volunteer cover crop. This was corn with interseeded buckwheat last year. As you can see, it's cleaning up just fine. If there's a lot of people worried with interseeding buckwheat that it's going to become a weed. Well, there was a little bit out here after disking, but second disc pass followed with tine weeder cultivation, no problem. Not that many buckwheat volunteers, but anyways, getting back to like what John Lundgren was talking about. I've tried the crimped no-till organic methods. I tried to do I switched half the farm to oats and pea mix, sometimes some flax. That was cool, so that I could plant a big cover crop to no-till corn and beans into. And I planted winter rye with winter peas, and then interseeded more winter peas. Well, in the fall I had a brassica as well in it that would help take up some nutrients and prevent weeds and help the rye. And then I interseed more peas in the spring and try to get some nitrogen, because vetch just is too late up here blooming. It's like the end of June, and I can't plant corn and beans end of June. We'll just never get a crop off. It'll not be near dry enough to harvest, and it'll freeze up and blah blah blah. So winter rye was with trying to get winter peas and spring peas established, and then no-tilling into it. I'm telling you guys, it was extremely difficult, very patchy stands. All your field edges would get a lot of grass weeds and stuff creeping out. Thistles were horrendous. Other perennial weeds were horrendous. Your crop couldn't get established because all the nutrients were soaked up into the cover crop thatch, and it's so carbonaceous it doesn't break down. Corn hated it, and I applied manure onto it, and it just fed the weeds more than the corn, and well, it fed both, that's for sure, because it's very difficult to get a high enough biomass. This was with early plantings, and I went to the extreme lengths to try and make it work. So I tried that for like 4 years, and I most years ended up tilling most of the cover crop up because there's a lot of weeds in it, and it would just become a weed patch rather than a crop patch. And planting corn, and then the first year that I did that, I learned about I tried interseed buckwheat, and it worked just way much better. Beautiful soil tilth throughout most of the year. Just a lot more photosynthesis happening, and biomass, and insects, and all the things they're talking about on this podcast versus this no-till organic stuff. And I can grow crops, and I can grow crops on my whole field, and I can take it to the weeds, and I can have a good seed bed, and if I'm patient with the right weather, and that's increasingly hard, but yeah, you can do all the field prep you need. And at the end of the year, my soil looks way better than the no-till organic situation, which would just get very compacted. I mean, the list went on. I could just hardly grow a soybean in a crimped rye cover crop, which, I started with degraded soil. I think I'd have a better chance now after building it up with robust, and the other thing is diversity. Like, interseeding, you have much more diversity going on, and design, whereas like, you got weed diversity, I guess. They're not really helping your soil that much in a lot of cases. And you got a bunch of monocrops. Rye is the only thing that can survive up here through the winter and suppress wheat. I mean, you could do vetch. I don't know how you'd have a heck of a time trying to get corn growing in vetch up here, and it doesn't crimp very well. It's anyone's guess if you're going to kill it, and it persists. So then what do you do after that when the vetch just won't go away? I don't know. And it seems to me that the people that are pushing the no-till organic strategies, or at least the popular ones, crimped rye, crimped vetch, crimped alfalfa, which, boy, I feel like a lot of the people pushing that are the ones not being, I guess, forthright leaders. Anyways, such a good podcast, John Lundgren and John Kempf, but it was like, did a 180 on me right at that point. And don't get me wrong, I realize I am like the bringer of death this point of season, but we are growing annuals. They are adapted for this situation, and just from what I've seen, the success in terms of your cash crop and increasing your soil fertility and life sign me up for this over Crimp No-Till Organic. Alright, well, there's my soapbox. Hope I didn't ruffle feathers. I'm sure guys make it work. But I've heard a lot of, you know, not so success stories as well that don't get nearly the spotlight. So anyways, yeah, yet another person saying that it's like this far superior method, and it's great, you just have to try it. Boy, I couldn't be on a further page from you, but there she is, boys. Just gotta shout into the wind, I guess, sometimes.